Guess what? My buddy Arlo here is 1 year of age. Happy birthday, buddy. And man, it has been quite a journey. Just wait though until you see how this guy has been progressing. We just finished up at the dog park and we're good and tired, so I think we're ready to hang out with you for a bit and talk about how he's been doing with his training, with his behaviors, and with just being a great all-around family dog. In case you haven't been following along with me, my wife and I picked up Arlo about 10 months ago. At the time, our sons were 2 years old and 5 months old, but Arlo is a full-blooded European Doberman. We got him at just 8 weeks old, so he was a brand new pup. And hey, come over here. And we knew we wanted a male, and we had pick of the litter, but Arlo was actually the only male in the litter, so it was kind of meant to be. But since that time, he has been just learning at an incredibly fast rate. He's extremely intelligent, very driven with tons of energy, loves affection all day long, but he is a bit more headstrong than my last Doberman was for sure, and definitely more headstrong than many other Dobermans I've met. All right, but let's talk about a few of the specifics of where Arlo is currently with how he's kind of fitting in with the family. Up first is that all-important socialization. Now, just like all along since I first got him, I'm gonna put him as behind schedule here because right after we got Arlo at 8 weeks old, this pandemic thing happened and lockdowns everywhere, and we really couldn't get him out and socialize him near as much as we should have. And really it's a shame because that 8 to 16 week old period is the critical socialization window for young Dobermans. So it's incredibly important during that time. Actually it starts before that, but since most people get their Dobermans at about 8 weeks old, that's when we started counting. But so yeah, we just didn't get him exposed to simple things like car rides, for example, very often, or going to visit other people as much as we would have liked because there was nowhere to go. Everything was locked down. So, but there are a few things now that we've been focusing on with him as of lately. So first of all, we've been taking a lot more car trips lately, which has been really good for him and going more places. But initially my truck was the only car set up to really bring him around in. But now we got my wife's SUV set up, so we really have no excuse not to bring him with us no matter where we go or who's driving or what car we're taking. We can always bring Arlo, which has been so good for him, not only just to get used to the car ride, but for wherever else we're heading towards. Also, we've been going to the dog park a lot more, which has really been a lifesaver for us because that's one thing that just kind of never got shut down. And there he meets new dogs, new people, gets to exercise. It's really, sorry, I'm right next to an airport. That's been really good for him. And additionally, we've been seeing family a lot more often. My sister-in-law just got a new rescue dog, which is a pit bull mix. And I think they've been getting along really well. So we bring them sometimes to visit that dog as well, get a little exposure there. Family's been a little more relaxed about getting together, so that's been really good. He's been having more group meetings there. And then also just when neighbors come over or someone visits the house, we always invite them in now. That's another thing we're doing. So like before, we might have a conversation with the neighbor on the front porch. Now we invite the neighbor in so they can meet Arlo, get used to him. Arlo can get used to the new person in the house. It also helps reduce some of that protectiveness among their territory, their property, or their house. So those are some of the things that we've been doing to help with the socialization as of lately. Now, one of the biggest reasons I put Arlo as behind schedule here is I have noticed a little bit of leash reactivity with him when we're out on a walk and another dog walks by. It's definitely only on a leash, and it is the stereotypical leash reactivity. As soon as he comes off the leash, he is great with dogs and everybody else. So that's one thing we've noticed, and that's a direct result of some of the socialization improvements we could have made or we should have made especially if we're able to. But that's one thing we're working through right now. Now, as for training in general, I'm going to put him as ahead of schedule because he's been doing great. He's just got that Doberman drive to learn, and everything we teach him, he soaks up like a sponge and really wants to please his owners. So it's been fantastic, really. All the basic commands he has down really well, like sit, stay, lay down, sit back up, off, up, release command, come, all of them he has down really, really well. He's also been doing good with a few new commands we've been working on, reinforcing a lot lately. One of them is space. It's a very useful command. If he's too much in our face or in the kid's face, we can say space. He'll back up a few steps.
Arlo, space. Good boy.
Out, if we need him to leave the house and go into the backyard, for example. It's great in emergency if something's going on and we just need him to go out for safety reasons or something. We can tell him out, and he goes immediately out through his dog door in the backyard, like on a dime. Bed, if we need him to go to his bed, we say that command. He shoots to his bed in the living room, sits and lays down and waits for a release command. Another very useful command to have. And under is more of just an entertaining one we're doing right now, but we can build off of it later for some more advanced obedience stuff. So we say under, he goes through our legs, turns around with a 180 and comes up with his head right between our legs and waits for a release command. Those are some of the more recent ones that we've been working on. Now, as for his behaviors, they've been getting really dialed in as just great behaviors for a real 100% family dog to possess, which really is completely his purpose. And one of them is, I have noticed he's just naturally getting more alert. Now, this is nothing that I'm doing or training in him. I've just noticed this in him as he's getting older age. He's naturally scanning and looking around more like he's doing right now, and keeping an eye on things, on the kids when he's playing with the kids and checking in on making sure he knows where everybody's at. This is a really cool thing I'm watching develop with him right now. And then in addition to that, leash training is another one that we've been working on still. I've explained that a lot in my previous videos, so I won't repeat myself, but he's been doing great with the heel command, staying at our side, not pulling ahead in front of us, which is always a tough one with Dobermans because they are relatively dominant dogs by nature, so they want to take that lead and yank you and pull you forward. But these are things that we've been working on. If you do have troubles with your dog with leash training, I did do a whole course on that, totally free to anybody on YouTube. The Doberman leash training course should be popping up in the corner of your screen right now. Now, up next is manners. I'm definitely gonna put him as ahead of schedule on manners as well. I'm so proud of him. You know, having a Doberman that's really well mannered, both with our family and with guests that come over, was just really important to us. And first of all, the free roam thing, that's been going really well. With the free roam, now we have taken down the pen that surrounds his doggy door coming into his house. So now when he comes in from the backyard, there's zero containment. He just has free roam of the inside of the house and free roam of the backyard as well, completely at will, anytime he wants. And actually just folding up that pen and putting it away was a big motivator for us. You know, just doing that and just dedicating ourselves, okay, now he's gonna have free roam. So now no matter what projects the kids are into or whatever, we have to make sure that he knows how to behave. And that's just been a great motivator for us to make sure that he stays on track as well. Also with the kids have been going great. This dog is so relaxed with the kids. They can poke him, prod him, pull his ears. You know, we tell, at least with our older one, he knows not to poke his ears or pull on him or anything. But if he does, if something happens, this dog is so relaxed and will just let anything go, which is great, which is exactly what we want. The worst thing that we got to worry about is if he starts rolling on his back and starts kicking his legs while they're playing and scratches a kid or something like that, or runs into him maybe. But he's usually even pretty careful about that when he's jumping around near him. And then lastly, when guests come over, he's been doing great with that. He knows not to jump on them, just doing really well with even people that visit the house. So I couldn't be prouder of him with that. He's quickly becoming 100% trusted. Man, it is making life so much easier. I gotta tell you, you know, I'm reminded all the time just how tough that first year is. But I gotta say, if you're struggling through that, stick with it. They're big goofballs and they're cute when they're young. Thank God for that, because they're a handful. But when they start to become fully trusted, like Arlo is here now, it really makes a world of difference, makes life just so much simpler. Now, moving forward with Arlo, there's really two main things I want to focus on: health and training. Now, health-wise, I really want to focus on getting him maybe some more nutritious, fresher foods. I've talked a little bit about that before. We're going to kind of dial back the kibble and go more towards some fresher foods. I really want him to have the healthiest possible nutrients that we can get to him. And also, I want to work with the vet a little bit closer, based on his DNA genetic health profile. Now, I did DNA test him at home, which I talked about previously, but that was just great, getting his DNA profile, because it gives his vet a lot of insight into what potential problems he could have down the road. Honestly, if you could do one thing for the future of your dog, for their health, especially with a Doberman, the one thing I'd urge you to do is get them DNA tested. I did a video all about how to do that really easily at home with a simple cheek swab. That video should be popping up in the corner of your screen right now. But that's the one thing I would suggest the most. So using that along with his vet, I really want to make sure his health is dialed in because we want to have many years still left with Arlo because he's an amazing dog. Other than that, as far as training goes, really, I want to focus on just reinforcing what he already knows. He's becoming a great dog all on his own with some guidance, of course, and getting these commands. He's got a large repertoire of commands already and behaviors that he's really doing excellent at. And I just want to get that locked into place. I really don't think I need to work on anything huge that's brand new to him, but as his trainer, it's really on me to really make sure that some of these things get really locked in so he's clear with what I'm asking of him when I give him a command like go to his bed or go out through the dog door, for example. So I want to reinforce all these things to make sure that they're lifelong behaviors and commands that he will just always have down pat. Yeah, I know I'm not giving myself a ton of homework, but I just really think it's important to lock this guy into the great dog that he's naturally becoming. You know, he does have his faults. He's not perfect at all. There's a reason why I tire him out before I make these videos. But he's a little stubborn at times, a little headstrong. That's one thing I've definitely noticed. So he has his faults, but overall he's a great dog and he's really getting dialed in. So that's really why I just want to focus on reinforcing who he's already on his way to becoming. You know, and he does also put up with quite a bit for these videos and a lot of my intros, for example. So I got to give him credit there too. Now, if this is your first time meeting me and my buddy Arlo here, I'm going to put a link up on the screen right now to the update videos playlist for Arlo of all the videos I've done since he was 8 weeks old and I first brought him home until now, just the update videos. And I'll also link to that in the description if you want to watch that and really see how this guy's been progressing. Please consider hitting that subscribe button down below and just enjoying this Doberman Planet world where you can keep getting updates on Arlo, how he's doing, how he's progressing, and how you can thrive with your Doberman. You know, if I ever successfully convince you to get one of your own. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.